We have a new Optimus video. And in addition to watching Optimus take these battery cells off and place them into the container, like he might if he were a human on the line, as the production is coming off the line, and finding the open place to put them, you might notice in the background a bunch of other Optimi standing around at workstations doing possibly other tasks. So this is, a new update. We're talking about the fact this is all neural net automatically targeting the next free slot. This is pure training. Sometimes he makes a mistake. He can recover from his failures. This is another good thing. You'll see again, here's a bunch of Optimi. How many hundreds can we can only guess whether there's 25 or 50 or 100 or maybe thousands that are already working in this particular lab. But this was, they're also showing him walking, takes regular walks around the office, getting used to being involved in the regular workplace, avoiding other humans, being able to navigate different kinds of environments, etc. So, and you can see, of course, that's sped up, but when he walks at a normal pace, it looks very much like a normal human pace at this particular time. I'm sure that we will hear from Scott later this week as to whether that is indeed a normal human pace or not. I'm sure Scott will have an opinion on that. So let's take a look at some of the other news. Anyway, I just thought that was a great update. We haven't had an update in quite a while. I don't think there was anything in there that the competition could grab a hold of. So that's probably why we're seeing it at this time, is that it is not going to be a problem for Tesla to show it. All right. All right, this lots of Tesla news this morning. That was just one. I thought the top of the list in terms of Tesla news, but let's go on. We've got Milan Kovac. He is an Optimus Tesla bot engineer, and he says it's kind of responding to this video that we just showed you. Over the past couple of, by the way, if you want to follow him, he's at now, it looks like there might be an underscore before his name starts. That would be weird, but just in case you can't find him, at maybe underscore Milan Kovac, Kovac. All right. Over the past couple of months, he says, our awesome manufacturing team has built more bots for us to work on and collect AI data from. Doesn't say how many. We've trained and deployed a neural net allowing Optimus to start doing useful tasks, such as picking up that battery cell, coming down a conveyor, and precisely inserting them into a tray. This neural net is running entirely end-to-end, meaning that it only consumes video coming from the bot's 2D cameras as well as onboard proprioceptive sensors. That's where you can sense things in your environment, how far away they are, without having to always figure it out for the first time. And then produces joints control sequences directly. It runs entirely on the bot's embodied FSD computer powered by the onboard battery. It is designed such that a single neural net can perform multiple tasks as we add more diverse data to the training process. He says it's not perfect yet and still a little slow, but we're seeing increasingly high success rates with less frequent misses. We're also training Optimus to recover, as you saw from failure cases, and are seeing spontaneous corrections happen. That's huge. We've deployed a couple of bots at one of our factories. Let me say that again. We've deployed a couple of bots at one of our factories where they're being tested daily at real workstations and continuously improving. So Elon said that they would be deploying them in the factories later this year. Well, this is later this year. So we now finally have that confirmed that we've got actual Optimi working in the factory. He says Optimus is also now taking long walks across the office without falling. And he gives us a smiley face for that one. Further work is ongoing to make it move faster, as well as dealing with more adverse terrains, all without sacrificing human-like nature. We're also focusing on repeatability across the fleet, training the neural net to deal with dynamic calibration and small bot-to-bot variants, and he promises more updates soon. Anyway, if that's not all inspiring and should cause some kind of, you'd think that we'd be seeing impact from Optimus on the stock price, but I don't think we are yet. Okay, from Sawyer Merritt, he says this. LiDAR supplier Luminar Technologies laid off 20% of its staff today among a new business restructuring. Uh, don't know if that's good news or bad news. We do know that the LiDAR part of this world is, in terms of the EVs, is not moving along. We've got, General Motors pulling back. Anyway, that doesn't sound good, but maybe it's a restructuring like Elon did, and it's something for positive. We'll see. Elon Musk says this morning, this is huge news. Okay, you ready? Pure AI vision auto park, he says. Coming soon, your Tesla will take you to your destination and park automatically unless you ask it to do otherwise. He says, actually, Smart Summon and Bannish, which is his name for auto park, with no one in the car, is coming soon. So James Stevenson responds to this. He says, what? When will FSD solve the last mile problem when returning home? I don't park my car at the curb in front of my house like a delivery person. I park in my garage in back of my house so I can charge. So unlike some garages where you go straight in off the street, you have a driveway that goes back and around, and then you come in from the back way. He says, can FSD train on my actions/video after I intervene upon arriving home? Elon says, yeah. Okay. We got to take that apart for a minute. I'm not sure. I think we need to ask Elon a deeper question here. But what was asked here, not just whether the car could actually, whether you could have the car accomplish the task of parking in that garage behind the home. He also asked very specifically, can FSD train on my personal actions/video after I personally intervene upon arriving home? And Elon says yeah to that. He only says yeah. Now, that would mean that this is always true. If that's true, it wouldn't just be true for parking in your garage. It would be true for your particular street, your particular block. And this is something we've all been wondering for a very long time. I think that Dr. Know-it-all feels like that is something we are able to do, that our inference chip is actually learning our specific stuff and then improving based on, our actions and the car's ability to act. So I'd love to hear more. Would love to have more color on that one. Okay, Elon Musk says the standard Tesla Model Y now has a 320-mile range. Although it's rear-wheel drive, the precision of Tesla's electric motors means it still has great traction on snow and ice with all-season tires. He goes on, the 260-mile range Model Ys built over the past several months actually have more range that can be unlocked for $1,500 to $2,000. So you have to pay for this. That will gain it 40 to 60 miles of range, depending on which battery cells you use. They're still working on regulatory approvals to enable this particular product. But at the same time, this is from Sawyer Merritt, Tesla has launched a brand new long-range rear-wheel drive Model Y variant in the United States. The price is $44,990, $37,490, including the federal tax credit, and it has a range of 320 miles. So he says the previous Model Y rear-wheel drive had 260-mile range, and that has been discontinued. So this now becomes a very inexpensive Model Y at $37,490. Forbes goes on with the story in terms of how inexpensive the Teslas are becoming. He says Tesla is offering curiously cheap leases on its Model 3, creating in effect a low-cost car that's available now, according to a long-time car market observer and entrepreneur. He says the 2024 Model 3 rear-wheel drive version is now available as of Sunday, May 5th, with a $299 per month lease. That doesn't include taxes and fees. This is their way of creating a $30,000 car today. This is a way for them to effectively get into the cheaper car market, says Pat Ryan, founder and CEO of Copilot, an AI-assisted car shopping app that debuted in 2018. Ryan made the following comparison with lease deals on a Honda Civic Sport. A Honda Civic Sport, very inexpensive car, not well equipped. For instance, the Model 3's current leasing terms are very similar to those being offered by the Honda Civic Sport, which has a current listing of $25,500. So that's what you would pay for the car if you paid cash. Theoretically, maybe there's discounts, whatever, when you get it at the actual store, compared to $38,990 for the Model 3. So it's a huge difference, almost double. Well, not double, by 40%, more than 50% higher. Yet the monthly payments are very similar. The $257 for the Civic Sport compared to $299 for the Model 3 with the same down payment of $29.99. Now that article goes on to talk about how is Tesla even doing this? Why would they even do this? I did a video a long time ago that shows that if Tesla gets $29.99 down, let's say they're self-funding this, and then they pick up $300 a month for 36 months, what are they picking up? They're picking up another 300 times 36 is $12,000 plus your 3,000, you got $15,000. They've pretty much at the end of the lease, they've paid whatever they're getting very, very close to paying for the car. In other words, whatever their cost of goods was. Not quite there, but very close. They can then turn around and sell the car for substantially more profit than they would have in the first instance. And now the money's been out there for 3 years, so you have to take that into consideration. But it's not a bad deal for Tesla at all. And they're forcing people to return the car at the end of the lease because why? Because they want to put it into the fleet. All right, Sawyer Merritt goes on to say, this is a completely different subject. Walmart has taken delivery of a Tesla semi-truck. The truck has a Walmart Transportation LLC sticker on the main cab. So this becomes another company testing out the Tesla semis. Lots of companies have orders in, of course, for Tesla semis. We'll see who else gets semis in the near term as Tesla begins to produce a few more each week. So this is from AJ. You can find him at ALOJOH. We follow his work carefully. He has probably the best reporting on X right now, taking nothing away from my friends like Larry and Brian, etc. But AJ is doing original reporting and really doing some excellent analysis. So he says Berlin and Shanghai expansion should be completed before the end of the year. I don't think that's true. He puts a question mark after that. I don't think it depends on what Berlin expansion he's talking about. The brand new building that they're going to build, no. The Shanghai expansion for the mega factory, yeah, I think that'll be finished by the end of the year. But what is he talking about in Berlin? I'm not sure. Anyway, he says, otherwise, Tesla won't be able to match the demand that these new models will bring. He's talking about the new low-cost Teslas. He's actually, yeah. So he says, okay, Elon says the new models can be made. We don't need, he's basically saying we don't actually need those factories. I think he's quoting somebody else. He says new models can be made on existing production lines. And he says this is very, very important. Tesla has existing production capacity of 3 million vehicles per year. This is also very important. I think that, again, this has been a confusion over the last few weeks. I got the impression that the capacity at Austin was 3 million. We've got capacity of 600,000 at Fremont. We've got capacity of easily 500,000 at Berlin. That's 1.1. You've got capacity already of over 1 million at Shanghai, and you've got clearly capacity of over 1 million when you count the Cybertruck at Austin. So I'm not sure, that's 3 million right there, and that doesn't count increases that we think are easily possible at Austin. So I thought he was meaning they have 3 million at Austin alone. Big question there. Another big question that we'd love to have the answer to. Okay, so these two were the reason, though. Let's just say, though, it's 3 million total. These two were the exact reasons why Tesla's share price rocketed following the announcement, because it implies one, incredible short design to market time and low capital expenditure requirement. Tesla doesn't have to build any new builds, no new facilities, etc., to enable the 3 million production. It mostly comes down to tooling and similar. Tesla will be producing in batches on existing lines. The new models together with the Model 3s and Ys. Think of it this way. Tesla produces for a few weeks the new models and then switches back to Model 3 Ys, rinse and repeat. This is typical batch production process. I don't think that's how it's going to happen. I think they're going to have, anyway, no, I don't think it's going to be lines. And with the new methods that they're going to be using, it'll be even less line-like, but it will still be lines, and they will go. I think they have plenty of room in Austin to do what needs to be done. I think they have plenty of room in Berlin that has to do what they have to be done. Not sure about Shanghai. That's the big question mark. He says the sequencing and amounts of vehicle produced is governed by expected and upcoming order flows while considering product margins. You want to first satisfy demand for the higher margin products before you satisfy the lower margin. For those who might be relatively new to this channel, oh, I'm sorry. I ended that was the end of the story. So let's just think about this for a minute. I think we're talking about 3 million in Austin alone. I think they have plenty of room to make as many Model 3s, Model Ys, Cybertrucks, and the new Gen 3s, as well as the new robotaxis. I think they can do all of that in Austin. They got space, and then they got more space. They can easily make probably a couple of million vehicles. I think the number is 3 million in Austin. Let me know what you think about that. I'm going to have to ask. I'm going to ask Brian White what he thinks about that. Okay. Let me just take a breather here. This is Randy Kirk, of course. I think you know that, but maybe you're new. Maybe you're relatively new. You've been watching for a while. You're kind of confused. What is Randy doing on this channel? Okay, what we do here, first of all, we look at all major Tesla news that impacts the fundamental value, the fundamentals of Tesla now and far into the future. We are not interested in the color of the brakes. Okay, other channels do that. That's not what you're going to get here. We are interested in the kinds of topics that you just heard covered. Then we look at the overall competitive landscape around Tesla products. No, we do not take every single car that comes out, every single battery pack that comes out, every single robot that comes out and go deep into all those different competitors. That's for other channels. That's not what we do here. But we do look at the major breakthroughs or major changes of competitors and do some analysis of those changes in terms of how it does potentially impact Tesla, in terms of the things that maybe the Tesla product can or can't do moving forward and why that might or might not be important. Okay, then we look at the overall economy. We spend a big part of the show on that every single day, in the morning, especially in the afternoon, when we do the aftermarket show. We're really looking at maybe a half of our time is spent on the overall economy and the overall stock market. It's a big part of what we do. We feel that the economy, the world economy, the national economy, is the second biggest component that impacts Tesla's sales and profits. We go very, very deep and we try to find trends that aren't even on the radar of the so-called experts that you might listen to on CNBC. These people have to cover such a broad range of stuff. So what we try to do here is go deep. We try to find real experts and really go in and hear what they're saying. And so I get to spend 40 hours, 45 hours a week doing this. And I promise you, I'm bringing you stuff that nobody else will bring you. Probably tomorrow or the next day, I will be bringing you, for instance, the truck tonnage report. Why? Because truck tonnage is a canary in the coal mine. How much the trucks are carrying in the United States matters in terms of where the economy is headed. Nobody else reports that. I go deeply into the small business analysis, I'm always forgetting the name of it though. Federal. Anyway, whatever the name of that report is, I go deeply into it every single month. And that analysis, again, the small business is the engine of the country. The companies under 500 employees are the number one engine producing product as well as new jobs. Anyway, then we look at how Tesla and the economic fundamentals are impacting the stock market and Tesla stock. And then we spend some time on the technical analysis. I am not a big fan of technical analysis, but because many are, and they trade that way. They trade based on the technicals, then it's impossible to ignore the impact they make on trading. If everybody is going to sell when Tesla hits 200, you need to know that. If they're going to sell at 224, you need to know that. If it's going to be a buy pattern at one, again, if the stock is coming down and it's going to be a buying opportunity at 150, I'm going to try to bring that to you. But I don't spend much time on it. I'm not an expert on it, but I do listen to some other experts and bring you that information. And then I generally produce about 4 pieces of content every day, and sometimes also a clip from a previous day if I think it's exciting and interesting. But right now I'm on vacation, so my goal is only to give you at least one view per day. Anyway, if all of that sounds interesting to you and you haven't hit subscribe yet, this is a great time to hit subscribe and then hit the notify button, because with 4 videos a day, you're going to want to know what's coming up next. And we have great guests, amazing guests, the very best guests you could possibly get on the channel to help out with all of this. If you'd like to support what I do, go down to Patreon in the description below. That, even $3 a month would be a great help. But at the $5 level, the $10 level, you'll see that there are free gifts, free books, free audiobooks, some of the books that I've written is here on the shelf, and then also a possible free Cybertruck bottle opener. That is not a Cybertruck bottle opener on my shelf, but is emblematic of it. All right. Let me just say this. There are almost no government or agency reports this week, so I may not report tonight, but I do promise to do an episode early tomorrow to set the tone for the week. With no big reports this week, the week is going to be primarily about the fundamentals of where the economy is going and where Tesla is going. But there are a bunch of Fed speakers, and so they could, of course, upset the apple cart at any particular given time. I think the market decided last week that 1 or 2 cuts in the interest rate will have to do this year. I'm not sure there's going to be any. I'm predicting there will be none. And that business is going okay, not great, but okay. So this kind of stagflation that we're in right now, I think for a few months is no big deal for the markets, but long-term stagflation is horrible for the middle class. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think about today's show? Were there things that you have thoughts about? Are there things that you'd like to hear more about in the coming weeks on the episode, on this show? I'll be back on the 16th. And so starting on the 17th, we'll have 4 shows a day again. And I'd love to, any comments you can give me between now and then will be helpful for me to do some planning on the programming. Yesterday, Larry and I did the Kathy Wood show. This is one of the most important shows of the month. It's my favorite show. I think it is the most informative show that we do all month in terms of the economy, where the economy is going, the world economy, the US economy. If you didn't see that yesterday, I'm going to leave you a card right here. You can go check it out. All right, that's all I got for you. As always, it has been phenomenal talking to you here in Maine. Bye for now.